Our cameraman, Sama Abu Dhaka, was killed by an Israeli drone strike while reporting in Khan Yunis. Al Jazeera bureau chief Wal al-Dadu was wounded in that attack. In January 2024, Wal's eldest son, the journalist Hamza al-Dadu, was killed in an Israeli attack while on assignment. Earlier strikes had already killed Hamza's mother and other family members. 6 months later, journalists Ismail al-Gul and Rami al-Rifi were killed in an Israeli strike in the Shati refugee camp west of Gaza City. And in March this year, Al Jazeera Mubashir journalist Hossam Shabat was killed in Beit Lahia in northern Gaza. And just as a reminder, journalists in conflict zones are protected under the Geneva Conventions. While al-Dadu is Al Jazeera's Gaza bureau chief, and he says that Israel had no reason to target his colleagues.
What is happening is unjustifiable and not in line with any law, with any humanitarian law or any human values. Therefore, this is astonishing and we should condemn it. How can they target a tent where journalists were sheltering? Everybody knows who was in this tent. They are parts of the Al Jazeera family and they work from this tent. So I think that such a thing was targeted. It was done on purpose, and that's why we are surprised and astonished. Why would you target our colleague Anas al-Sharif and his colleague Mohammed and other colleagues and the team that was with them? And before this, there was also a series of murdering journalists who were targeted and killed in different ways in different places while they were doing their job. So the question is, why are they also targeting the family members of the journalists? I personally had my family members, including my wife, my children, my cousins from both sides, all killed in the same attack. And why? We don't know. Nobody has an answer. Therefore, we are asking, what does Israel want from these consecutive and continuing attacks? We do not understand it, and it cannot be justified.
Elsewhere across the Gaza Strip, Israeli forces have carried on bombing Palestinians in residential areas. An Israeli attack in Al Zaytun neighborhood killed an entire family, the mother, father, and their 6 children. At least 23 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since dawn on Monday. Civil defense teams are struggling to recover victims under rubble due to access via roads and the lack of heavy machinery. Israel's relentless bombardment of Gaza in the past 22 months has injured more than 150,000 people. Many now have lifelong injuries and disabilities, but can't get the medical care they desperately need. Al Jazeera's Tariq Abu Zoom has more from Deir al-Balah on their daily struggle to survive.
Everyone in Gaza is trapped in a war that offers no refuge, no protection, and no certainty of the next meal. But for the elderly and disabled, it's far worse. Their survival depends not only on escaping the bombs, but on a relentless fight against starvation. Every day is a gamble for Fatima Abu Sameh. Her son brings her what little food he can and carries her to safety when Israeli forces close in.
I always need help. I can't move on my own, and when I'm alone, I usually crawl. I have difficulty getting to the bathroom, and even the wheelchair I use is old. I barely managed to flee when we were ordered to evacuate. We were forced to walk because there was no transport.
Across Gaza, displacement is a never-ending cycle. Despite his age, Mohammed Narab has been forced to flee countless times. His wife has a lung disease and struggles to breathe. They have no regular access to healthcare, no one to care for them, and no money for even the simplest meals.
I struggle to get water. I fill the containers myself and sometimes ask boys to help me carry them. This is what our life has become. Food is scarce and we have no income. Older people are helpless and we survive on meals from soup kitchens.
Mohammed al-Attar is an academic and father of 4. He is also blind. For him, Israel's war has turned the provider into the one in need. Mohammed says he has been displaced more than 10 times and carries with him the constant fear of being unable to protect himself and his family.
We, the people with visual impairments, are struggling to move around. I sometimes feel that my family might leave me because of the intensity of the bombardment and the massive fear.
As the war shows no sign of ending, the most vulnerable in Gaza are trapped in an escalating fight for safety and basic survival. In Gaza, these are not isolated struggles. They are the daily reality for thousands of people. Life here is no longer just about surviving Israeli airstrikes. It's about enduring hunger,